Good afternoon, everyone. I am Aditi Sakalle with wishes for good health for you and your family. I welcome you all on the eighth day of this 2 week online short term training program on research methodology, organized by University School of ICT, Gautam Buddha University. Today's session will be taken by Dr. Sanjay Kataria on essential topics which are research ethics, plagiarism, Copyright Act, Creative Common License, and fixed share research data repositories. Before starting the session, let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Sanjay Kataria. Dr. Kataria has PhD in Library and Information Science from MCRP University Bhopal in 2008 and has done LIAL program from Harvard University. He has worked experience of more than 2 decades. Currently, he is working in Bennett University. He is founding librarian in Bennett University from August 2016 till present. In his career, he has worked in very renowned universities like JP Institute of Information and Technology, Noida, which is a DIM university, everyone knows that. Banasthali University in Rajasthan. He has 35 research papers in journals and conferences, indexed in Scopus and WOS, 9 books and conference proceedings. He is editorial member, board member of many reputed scholarly journals. He has supervised 8 PhD, 1 MPhil, and many master and PGD length dissertations. He has been awarded Commonwealth Professional Fellowship from Middlesex University, London, UK in 2012. Again, Commonwealth Professional Fellowship from University of East London, UK in 2017. University Librarian Award of the Year in the 2019 by MP Library Association. Best Librarian Award in 2019 by Society of Promotion of Libraries UP. Satkal Young Librarian Award in 2012 by Satkal Trust, and Marappan Memorial National Best Young Librarian Award in 2009 from in Chennai by SALIS College. Appointed as UGC observer choice for the selection of professors under career advancement scheme of UGC at MDU. Visited as a member of review panel by NIFLibNet UGC. His novel contribution in librarianship is conceptualized unique platform of discussions and deliberation, emerging trend and technologies in libraries and information services, an international symposium, and conducted it successfully for 5 times in 2008 at JIIT, in 2010 JUIT, in 2012 JUET, in 2015 at JIIT, and in 2018 in Bennett University. He has initialized many things in Bennett University, like LibQuest, 1 week library festival for all segments of the university, developed 4PS concept for providing research support services at Bennett University. In short, his bundle of lots of knowledge and experience. And we are so much fortunate to have you today here, sir. Very excited to hear your talk. You can start your session now.
Thank you, Dipti. Thank you very much for your kind words and brief introduction. I'm properly audible, na?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
And I'm equally thankful, Dr. Pradeep Tomar, for this opportunity, Professor K.K. Viswas, and entire Gautam Buddha University fraternity and authority for this opportunity. And I'm asked to share my experience about a very relevant and close to my heart. The topic is today research ethics, plagiarism, copyright law, and this creative common license, and how scholar community should aware about all kind of all this process. Let me share my screen here. Aditi is invisible. Aditi,
Yes, sir. Visible,
It
sir.
is visible, sir. Yes, sir.
thank you very much. So my dear friends, so as I'm a librarian at Bennett University, and since last 2 decades, I have a different kind of experience and exposure with the scholar community. And fortunately, I am associated with very closely with the research scholar community at Bennett University. Since last 3 years, I'm a teaching one of 4 paper of the research methodology, and my paper is entitled on essential research skills for a scholar. And there is a 5 unit paper, one credit paper, which is supposed to go through by every scholars. And uh, you are the witnessing how the research landscape is changing over the period of time. A lot of emerging tools, technologies are emerging day by day, and which can help research community at large. So, research. When talking about research ethics and plagiarism, let me tell you before that and how we are going to discuss in next 2 hours. I'm going to interact with you all, and I'm going to discuss about the different topics which are in combination but very relevant and link each other. Research of misconduct, understanding of plagiarism, type of plagiarism, possible consequences of the plagiarism, about the common knowledge, and also how the University Grant Commission has given a guideline related to about the plagiarism, and kind of initiatives taken by University Grant Commission in Flunet, starting the Source program, and about some citation component and sources, types, and style. And then finally, I will be discussing about Indian copyright law and the Creative Commons licensing. So, my dear friends, when talking about misconduct, you know well what exactly meaning of the misconduct is nothing but kind of doing something wrong. And when going to talk about this ethics, honesty, integrity, this is basically you can't teach in in your classroom, but these all things we are what we are getting from our family. This is values, honesty, ethics, and what we are learning from our parents, our family, and thereafter we're going to school again, we have friends. So this is not new, but when we're going to talk about research and writings, definitely this terminology when talking about ethics, honesty, and misconduct is having a very high uh, relevancy, and we should keep in mind when while writing, while doing research, all this terminology, and especially when you're going to write your research. So this how this online open educational resources or the internet and kind of availability of the resources online nowadays during this pandemic, we have made an all library resources at the doorstep of the users, and now users are very empowered. They have a kind of access of different resources, different databases, different journals, different ebooks, and all. So there is a bundle and a great opportunity with them, make use of these resources. But again, another part, there is a sense of the users, expectation, perception of the users. When you're going to start your research, first and foremost, everybody is even talking about Google, and you are going to Google, just exploring and finding a relevant literature. But I don't know how this the Google is helping research scholars, because Google is not ultimate solution for everything. Google is a robust system. Google has a different kind of information. But when you're going to talk about scholarly communication, I know more than 15 to 20% content are indexed by the Google. And there is an also perception of the users that whatever is available, accessible freely online, they can make use of all those resources, all those content freely, and without having any kind of permission. So this is a misconception. whatever resources available online, offline, in public domain, each and every content have their own kind of integrity and have your own kind of legalities and ethical issues with them. And this is a great responsibility of the author to understand about the resources, the source of information, what they're going to use in the research. And again, there is a great responsibility of the author when they're going to start the research. I have to proper investigation about the source of the information. There is a three kind of sources are there. First, in primary sources. Primary sources can be a kind of your first-hand information. It's not been utilized by others so far. It's first-time information. Secondly, the second sources of information compiled from different sources and made available. Then tertiary source of information. But again, when you're going to talk about the source of information, we have to look at back twice. Because whatever resource is available in public domain, it's not sure that they are completely authentic in information and peer-reviewed information. Somebody is responsible for that information. Therefore, this is a great responsibility of the author to take in a proper verify the information and taken a proper permission from the person who's holding the legal or ethical rights of that particular information. And then after, in case somebody is making use of those information, have an ethical duties and moral duties to cite that information. And again, in case somebody is using same words, few words from that some source, that can should be put in quote, quoted mark, under quote. So this kind of information, and then we're going to talk about research misconduct. So research misconduct is basically kind of activities taking in different ways, different mean, and scholarly world is talking about FFP. FFP is starting from the fabrication. That means when the scholar is going to collecting a review literature, reviewing a literature, reporting them that literature in the research, they sometime people having kind of manipulating with the research data, research findings, and reporting them the way and they would like to report. Second is the falsification of the research data. Again, there are different kind of manipulation with the research materials, equipment, the process they use in the research. And so in that way they're having a kind of manipulations and kind of that otherwise or other way they somehow they're compiling with the research reporting the way they look forward. Third thing is that plagiarism. Plagiarism is basically is the terminology. Plagiarism is nothing but kind of appropriation of another person's ideas, process, results, words, without giving them a proper acknowledgement, proper credit. So let us understand first and foremost about the plagiarism. And if you look at the terminology plagiarism, which came from that the Latin plagiarius, that means a kidnapper. That you can think about how this person is taking something from their from one property, some kind of important valuable properties, ornament and all. But when talking about scholarly world, how these people is taking something, different words, ideas, knowledge, so that they're claiming these all kind of things their own. And let us understand about the plagiarism with this definition. As I said, plagiarism is nothing but kind of appropriation of another person ideas, process, result, words, without giving appropriate credit. So let us take in one by one of this terminology. When we're going to talk about appropriation, means using or taking something that is not yours. So we should understand the plagiarism is a kind of stealing, by using another person words and ideas. Plagiarism is nothing but kind of academic dishonesty, because student scholar community are expected they do their research their own. Then next term is ideas, process, result. So when talking about refer to another person, intellectual property. Intellectual property is a kind of similar property. What you are holding in at your home now, your ornament, you have any kind of other valuable cash or any kind of your apartments or any kind of property. What you have, your computers, any kind of property. Equally, when somebody is stealing that property and having a kind of complications while they're stealing the different kind of property, so similar way that having a kind of responsibility in ethically, legally, when there are people talking about plagiarism, taking something intellectually from someone without acknowledgement. When you're talking about words, that means when you're going to write research and taking some words from any of the sources, you have to ensure that you're not taking more than 14 words together from one source or one para. Because if you look at a university grant commission guideline, they are also having their suggestion and guideline. Sometimes some people talking about rearranging phrases, paraphrasing. I will be discussing all these things in detail. So what is paraphrasing and kind of quotation and words and all. Another is that what is an idea? Idea means we are discussing, talking right now, and there is hundreds of people are listening of this presentation, and some of my own ideas, which is conceptualized by me. I'm going to say sharing my experience with you all, and you people are listening, and you people found something unique, something new, something relevant to your research, and they're taking something from my presentation and going to make use of that without acknowledgement. That is also plagiarism. The processes, the different kind of process has been adopted by different kind of scholars and different kind of research. Some of ethical experimental research, some of different kind of research, and some of process and procedures and methodology used in laboratories, or sometime having some computer programs and taking something, that process, how you are designing, kind of algorithm you are using, kind of formula they are using, kind of tools you are using for your research, taking something from their research finding and using in your own research, that is also the plagiarism. And taking some of data, figure, tables, and this is very common. If you look at your research published in last 4 5 years, and look at that kind of resources we have used in different sources, so you can see, without having a proper acknowledgement of tables, figures, data. And nowadays we are talking about open data, open science. And what is that? There's a lot of research has been produced globally in different areas, and that is available in public domain. If you look at the Indian PhD awarded by Indian university, Indian institutions are maintained by Influnet Center of UGC. So repository like a South Ganga, having a thousands of research PhD thesis in the South Ganga in public domain, which can be utilized by anyone. So in that way, we are trying to understand the research, this plagiarism related to research, and how these different words having a different perspective, different meaning, and how people are involving themselves while doing research, knowingly or unknowingly, into the plagiarism. I'll be discussing more. So now, when you're talking about giving appropriation credit, is what? That means whenever you're going making any of use of any sources, any resources, this is first and our moral and ethical duty to quote, to give a proper credit to the person who, as originally created that particular set, created particular thought and ideas. How we can do it? We can do it we can put in their names in our research. We can given a proper citation of the sources. Or sometimes scholar are intentionally not doing anything wrong, but they are really not aware. So that kind of misconduct is not covering under the plagiarism. This is a type of the plagiarism what I'm talking about. I found two ways. One is the intentional, whatever people are doing intentionally. They're taking help from faculty member, their friends, and some of they're asking, write on my behalf. Or there is a number of agencies nowadays involved. If you put in a, writing the thesis, there's a lot of agencies are involved, supporting research scholars, and they used to do all whatever outsource of their research, and somebody is, writing on behalf of them. Or you're taking something from many of sources, but not, having a proper carry to that. You're cutting cut and paste of your text from any of sources, any of resources, without documenting. So these are the some intentional purpose, but there are what I understand, the Indians go. If you look at the global scenario, there was a time when India was leading in a good number of quality publication, but after some time, I don't have a source of data, but I understand, I gone through some information. The Indian scholars are more involved in the plagiarized publications. Concern is not that they're intentionally they would want to do, all these kind of uh, all these kind of unethical activities, but sometimes they're really not aware. While they're writing research, they're not having a proper understanding of how to cite the research, how to make a citation. Or sometimes some are scholar community, because our global language in English, and scholar community are writing the research in English, and they are not well completely having a confidence and kind of competencies writing in English. So sometimes they're hesitating, and they are unable to write them, and therefore they're taking some text from different sources and compiling that. Or there are some more reason behind that, plagiarism. Sometimes there is a very high expectation from the scholar. We are giving a lot of assignment to the student in the classroom, giving projects, and not giving enough time with that. And they're forcefully they're going here and they're looking information, compiling, and they're involved themselves unknowingly or unintentionally. They're involved in that plagiarism. So again, let me I don't know, but I'll going to discuss some of situations, and probably you people can uh, put a live comment on all these uh, situations I'm going to give, and you just read and try to answer. Is it plagiarism or not? I'm looking your live chat. Please read and answer.
You are a member of the audience. Your research result are presented. Your idea described by one speaker in the design of your next research. Described by one speaker in the
Any more comments in the audience? Your answer will help me to understand, and the way accordingly I'll proceed further. I got on a few 4-5 answer so far. Dr. Pradeep, how many are online?
Sir, I think at present here 41 is online right now, and people are writing the answers. Sir, answer is visible to you or not, sir?
Yeah, I'm able to see that, the live chat,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
live comment.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we can take some idea, but should not copy the same. No, no. If proper acknowledgement and citation is done, no. Yes. Okay, good. So let me give you another situation, and then after I'll be discussing. Are you able to see this next screen? You are reading a journal article, chapter, or book. You paraphrase passage of the text from your material you have been reading in the literature review of a manuscript.
You are reading a journal article, chapter, book. Your paragraph that is a question. It is from the material you have been reading in the literature review. Android app, no.
Good. Yes, there is a plagiarism for sure. Yes, idea can be used but cannot be copied exactly. We can take no. Yes. Okay.
Bigger profile.
Okay. I'm going to give in the next one. I'll be giving the answer, but meanwhile, Aja, let me test your skills and how you're thinking and observing about the plagiarism, understanding about the plagiarism. Look at the exercise 3. You are reviewing a submitted manuscript. You decided to use the novel research method described in that manuscript to enhance your own research. No, not a plagiarism. Yes, no, yes. Kajal Singh, yes. Narmata Sharma, no. Vanillity, it is a plagiarism. Okay, good. So this is next. Please read it carefully. Please read it carefully. Waiting for your answer, please. No, 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 no. Okay, and this is the final exercise. Second final. Yes. Look at you're writing a paper in English and your native language is Marathi. When you're writing a review of literature, you use another author exact word because you are not confident about paraphrasing or summarizing the idea into your own language in English. So is it a plagiarism or not? It is not plagiarism. It is yes, 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 no, yes. Navita Sharma, okay. Poonam Gautam, yes, okay. Good. M Sharma, no. Renuka Kapahe, exact words used would be the plagiarism. Okay. So this is the final one or last one. Please read it carefully. You are writing a manuscript for publication that is based upon your own previous research. You decided to include some exact text from one of your earlier manuscript in the new paper. Let me see your answer, please. What about 6-1? Your answer? Kajal Singh, yes. Narwad Negi, yes. This would be plagiarism if you don't cite your work too. Okay. Sonia, yes, yes. Man Sharma, yes. Yes, sir. Okay. Good. Satya Prakash Gupta. Yes, okay. So great. Thank you all active and very skilled professional. I'm happy to interact with all seniors and good scholars. Majority of given a very correct answer. And let me discuss one by one again. Situation one, this is your member of an audience where the research results are presented. You use this idea described by one of your speaker in the design of your next project. Yes, this will be this is the plagiarism basically. The like I told you in the beginning of my talk, I'm discussing something new, and Dipti also introduced me and she spoke about my of some of innovative idea which I applied at Banat. And in case I'm going to share the how 4P I designed for supporting research activity for the student, and that you people found that my ideas, my creativity is unique and something useful for your research, and you're going to after attending this session you're going to make use of that my ideas, and this is your moral ethical duties to give your quotation, your give your reference. Yes, Dr. Sanjay Kataria discussed and spoke about this and that during this workshop, and he described like that. So this is your moral and ethical duty to give a proper acknowledgement. Next next situation is that you are reading a journal article, chapter, or book. You paraphrase the passage of text from material you have been reading in the literature review of a manuscript you are going to write. So, yes, this is again a plagiarism because merely paraphrasing, changing a few words in a paragraph is a really plagiarism. You can't do it. because when you're going to paraphrase, rather paraphrasing of research, better you summarize the idea and given a proper reference, proper acknowledgement, so that your research will not be involved in the plagiarism or plagiarized. And next situation is that once you are reviewing a paper submitted by someone and you are reviewing the particular manuscript, and you decided that this is really good research, and this is the some I don't have a facts and figure, but somebody told me that my paper has been rejected by so and so journal, and after some time I found my same paper has been published with other names, and this is the practice of predatory publishers. So when you are going to, if you, in case you are associated with some of the journals and you are reviewing some of manuscript, and you feel that something is good and taking some from that, even that is not published, yes, I must tell you, in case you're writing and describing your novel ideas and expressing in your conferences or somehow somewhere, or submitted even to the publisher, and that no one can make use of that without your permission or without proper citation and acknowledgement. So this is again plagiarism. Situation 4 is not in plagiarism, because why? You look at your literature review, but acknowledged with proper references. That means whatever you're taking something, you're taking some ideas, some of website or some of any of literature, but giving a proper quote and quotation, or that your acknowledgement citation. That means that is not plagiarism. Situation 5, because because when we are going to talk about ideas, taking ideas or words or the processes, what I discuss in the definitions also. When you're going to use any of person ideas describing in your local language or your in other language, but you are taking ideas from other person, and once you are not going to acknowledge that, you will involve yourself in plagiarism. So please ensure, my native language is say Bengali. I'm taking someone has written something in a Bengali language, and I'm just gone through. I found something useful my research, and I'm just translating from Bengali and putting the same similar ideas, same words in my research into English language. That means that is also plagiarism. Copy paste, that means the writing manuscript for the publication that is based. Yes, this is situation recently. If you look at recent notification of University Grant Commission about the self plagiarism, you can't make use of your research, whatever you have published, without proper acknowledgement. You can't make use of the same paragraphs, same kind of uh, pictures, diagrams, or the without any kind of reference acknowledgement. Whenever you are going to use your own research, you have to ensure that you're acknowledging properly. So, what is that? When you're talking about moral or legal plagiarism, when talking about plagiarism, when you don't say where you have took the ideas or words from the particular source, morally or legally, you are in a plagiarism. And when talking about legally, that means you're violating copyright. When you take it without any permission from the author, that is all under the Copyright Act. Both situation, when you take it without permission or pass it on as your own work, that is in a plagiarism, and that is in a violation of copyright even, and people can sue you in the court. So, what are the consequences of the plagiarism? Because when going to talk about what kind of impact implications on the scholar community, first and foremost is in your reputation, because scholar writings, research, 80% to 90% research is not produced by the scholar community, professor, teachers, and researchers, is just to adding a knowledge, sharing the knowledge with the society, not for the money. and they have now owned their visibility and prestige in the society, in the scholar world. Therefore, first and foremost, the reputation of the scholar, you know, that will go down. Again, another one, that grading in case you're the student and you're supposed to qualify some paper and having an found in kind of plagiarism, your grade will go up. In case you're going to write a dissertation and found that some text is taken from somewhere and not been acknowledged, that is again the dissertation will not be accepted. Or university may take some kind of more serious action, like an expulsion. You can expel from the university or some professional organization. Or sometime, in case you're a faculty, you may lose your job. I'll be discussing how University Grant Commission has, given a guideline and kind of punishment related to the plagiarism. And there isn't some news in, related to plagiarism. Ex-Delhi University Vice Chancellor, so was involved in plagiarism. And then some of other university teachers, students, they a lot of, news has been published from time to time. So now this is question is that now we understand what exactly is the plagiarism. Okay, what is the plagiarism and how what type of the plagiarism and the situation we understand how plagiarism is taken from time to time in different ways, different means. Now let us discuss about. I'm talking about that. Should we quote everything all the time? Somebody is asking, do I have to cite everything? Then answer is say no. You're not required to cite all the things together. Like in fact, that is widely known. There is some terminology known as common knowledge. Common knowledge is nothing but kind of information is available from on public domain from more than 3 sources. That is considered as a common knowledge. And in case there is in doubt, even though about common knowledge, better to cite. Okay. Common knowledge, like Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. And if search about Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, you can see the 1,000 or 100 source of information where they publish that yes, Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. If you talk about Gautam Buddha University established by Uttar Pradesh government and Act 2002, UP Act number so, and came into existence in 2008. And you can use any of search engine and search information about Gautam Buddha University, and every sources, every places, you'll find the same information. So this kind of information is considered as a common knowledge, and common knowledge is not required even to cite and to acknowledge. So this is the very important. While you're going to write a research, you should understand about the common knowledge, and better that what kind of text, what kind of source you have used from different places, different sources, and you have to ensure yourself that yes, you are going to do all ethical things. And there is some more information like in legal judgments. Published say recently some honorable Supreme Court has given some kind of decision that will come under the common knowledge, because that is for the society, for the social information, society information, social development, social benefits. So this kind of information is not required to cite, citation, and acknowledgement. And these are things when you're going to discuss your own experience and observation or reaction. Like you people are listening me, and you're developing some thought about this presentation, and sometimes this thought can be discussed with your peer and talking something that is your own observation, your own experience, reactions. So that you cannot find some other source, you cannot read, you cannot retrieve that information, because that has come from your own. That is came from your own observation, own reactions, own experience. So this kind of information, when you're going to use in the research, but certainly what I'm talking about, something unique, something my own idea, some kind of experiment, some kind of result. I'm talking from my experience, my research, and what you are going to make use, you have to acknowledge. Then compiling the results of original research. From you're doing some experiment in your laboratory, some kind of material you have, you're utilizing, like the chemistry people, they used to have a combination of compiling and mixing different kind of chemicals, reactions, and putting all that experiment on some instrument and getting some result from the experiment, some kind of observation, some kind of machine based data, and based on that you're writing something that you not required, but you have to report in research. That in case having like in nowadays people talking about COVID-19 vaccine, and you all knows what kind of difficult and lengthy and long and lengthy process for designing a drugs. Different parameters are there which need to meet out. There is some kind of permission is required, some kind of testing is required, some kind of experiment is required, and based on that you people are getting approval for the medicine, for treatment. So majority of things you really require to cite and acknowledge, but some of common knowledge, some of your own observation, own experiment data is not required any kind of citation or acknowledgement. Hope you are aware about this notification about the plagiarism from the University Grant Commissions. Can you write something on live site chat? Anything know about this notification? What is that basically? I'm waiting your response in live chat, please. Are you aware about this? Not getting any of response on live chat. Okay. So let me tell you, actually University Grant Commission has given a guideline related to the plagiarism, because this is one of the serious issue, and main purpose of this guideline is to add quality, produce quality research from India, and the number of predatory publishers are very involved in making misguiding scholar community and having a predatory publications. And therefore that government university and commission expecting more quality research from the all universities, and keep in view they have put on some guidelines about the plagiarism. So let us discuss about, and this is the gazette related to plagiarism. And before that, let me tell you about this Sodh Suddhi. This is one of the program initiated by MHRD, Government of India. Sodh Suddhi, basically the University Grant Commission and given a responsibility to implement. They have initiated this facility, and under this program, they have providing all facilities for checking all research manuscript through Orkund anti-plagiarism software. And this software is Orkund or the Turnitin or other software, basically helping scholar community to detect similar text. And I must tell you that not a single software in this world can confirm out this is the plagiarism. All the software can help a scholar and can give a guideline, can hint that this similar text is available on so sources. And so that again matter of investigation by research supervisor, research scholar, that while they're doing, while they're checking their manuscript, they have to ensure about they have to ensure themselves and how to make how to analyze the report very carefully. Are you able to see the screen? This is my account, and I just uploaded some of sample data, and I found this document containing 74%
No,
similarity
sir,
index.
screen is not visible to us.
Okay, then I have to stop sharing and again I have to share. Okay, wait.
Sanjay sir, your screen is not visible.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm just sharing.
Okay.
Now, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. It's visible now, sir.
Yes,
So
we can.
many of you have an access of all this Orkun in your university, or that you have your subscription of Turnitin software. Basically, I'm not going to discuss this tool in your software in detail, but I would like to connect this what I'm talking about, the University and Commission guideline related to plagiarism, and what exactly is a plagiarism, how to detect a plagiarism, how to avoid a plagiarism. This is one of the most important aspect, and how this kind of tool are helping the research community to understand. So I just uploaded on this document here, and I found the similarity rate showing at 74%. So just click here and to just to understand. Oh, okay, maybe sign out. So when you're going to read this report word by word, you can see that similarity has come from different sources, say some internet source, some publisher source, some document, student document also. So when you're going to cross check, need to analyze each and every, the sources. You can see yourself from here, what kind of source you have used and how your, text is showing the different sources. And is a matter of proper investigation and analyzing that whether this text detected by the software is in a exactly or the properly is it really a plagiarism or not? If not, then how to when you're going to write research, is taking something and given a proper quotation and references. That source you can exclude it from the report. But majority of publisher, what I understand from last 2 decades, I started this services at JP Institute of Information Technology long back, and people thinking that whatever is shown by the software, this tool or alternating, that is a plagiarism, and they hardly discuss with the student and the scholar that they just want that similarity index should less than this number, but simple. And I must say that it is very much possible in case your similarity rate is 5% or 10%, that can be plagiarized. And in case your report is showing 50, 50, 60% content similarity rate, that is not necessary that is in all that sources showing by the report is a plagiarism. So I would like to emphasize and I would like to tell you all, whenever you are facing this situation, you need to properly analyze this, each and every source is detected by the software. And again, you have to see your manuscript. In case you have used, you have used any of source, like some paper, some books and all, and which you have forgotten to quote or the given a reference, that this software is basically helping, helping scholar community to improve their research, rather than this is not, claiming this is, you are you have did something wrong. Therefore, this facility is available and accessible and provided by Influnet to all the universities, just to help, just to ensure that whatever research has been is going to publish from the university, that is in quality research. Okay, so otherwise, some people taking in some negative sense, oh, this paper is having a similarity. Similarity rate, finding a similarity rate is not that means is a 100% that is a plagiarism. Just matter of investigation. This is helping us and showing some text, similar text, different sources, and we need to really understand. And in case some gap at our end while we are writing, we need to improve it. Simple. In case you have any query question in your mind, you can keep writing on chat box. Then I will check. Meanwhile, so let me go back to my slide. Uh, Dr. Pradeep is visible, no?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Pradeep is visible, no? Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
So basically, there was some background about how the University Grant Commission has given a kind of guideline to all the university, kind of support extended by University Grant Commission and MSRD by providing this plagiarism. What do you say? This is called PDS, plagiarism detection software (PDS) facility by the Influnet. So I'm just coming on the University Grant Commission. There is some. They have fixed some criteria, and they feel that when a scholar is going to publish the thesis or the research paper, they have to ensure that the kind of guidelines given by the University Grant Commission should be followed properly, should be maintained. And this is they also suggested that each and every university should have to have an institutional academic integrity panel. And academic integrity panel in all the universities, there is a two level. At the school level, it means department level or the university level. So I'm the member of this academic integrity panel in my university in all school level and the university level also. And basically, role of this academic integrity panel is to ensure what we are going to do that is correct, what kind of research we produce that is perfect, and we are maintaining all the standards and producing more quality research. Sometimes there is some argument, some kind of gaps of understanding at the scholar level, or sometimes whenever any scholar is going to submit the research thesis, and somebody is having a understanding gap. Then that time particular, this integrity panel playing an important role. They used to sit together, discuss about the the discuss about that kind of text has been used in different sources, whether it's been quoted properly, acknowledged properly or not, what kind of text has been taken, how much similarity rate is there, even 10% is a minor similarity rate is there with no penalty. In case is a similarity rate is 10 to 40%, they haven't, they are asking to revise that particular manuscript again in stipulated time, no text exceeding 6 months. And the third one is that similarity rate. In case similarity rate is 40 to 60%, in that kind of situation, university used to divorce the student from the university for a period of 1 year. And level 3, in case similarity rate is more than 60%, the student registration for that program shall be cancelled. So these are some guidelines for the research scholar, research community, then need to follow properly. And they have to ensure while and I'm interacting with my research scholar in my university, I'm just not because this is a kind of fear, among the scholar community, all these guidelines, and because of lack of understanding and expertise. Therefore, this is a great role of the supervisor, the librarian in the university or integrity panel. We should conduct a kind of awareness program in our university about the plagiarism, what is the plagiarism, how to detect a plagiarism, how to avoid a plagiarism, and kind of guidelines from the university level or the UGC level. Once your scholar community are really aware about all this process, whole process, I'm sure that no one is willing to involve themselves in this kind of activity, and again they will come with some more quality research. So next level is that pliability in case of plagiarism in academic research publications.
संजय
Again,
सर,
yes, yes,
सर
please.
सर स्क्रीन थोड़ी फुल स्क्रीन कर दीजिए सर, स्क्रीन इज
Okay,
नॉट
okay,
विजिबल टू
okay, okay,
कैंडिडेट्स.
okay, okay.
ओके सर.
Is it okay?
या नाउ इट्स ओके सर.
Okay. So this is all this what I'm talking about. This is not mine because basically available on public domain and the university website. Or I'm sure that your university might have their own guideline along with the University Grant Commission. So we have to ensure our shelf. And what I said that each and every university should conduct the periodically some kind of awareness program about the plagiarism, and also need to conduct a training about on Turnitin and this Orkun from time to time, just to ensure that what our research scholars and peers, faculty member, what kind of research they're going to publish, they're maintaining all these kind of standard and guidelines. And this is the third stage is that having a kind of penalties in case of plagiarism by faculty members. So I'm not going to discuss on all these things. This basically is in a merely guidelines. I'm sure that no one scholar community and faculty members, a scholar are willing to involve. And I'm also sure that because while you're interacting with a scholar, no one they enrolled themselves for the quality research. They understand that because that whole life they have to carry their work together. Therefore, that is important at our level, in university level, just to create an awareness. But I'm sure that kind of facilities available, kind of awareness is available among scholar community. They themselves will not involve in the whole kind of plagiarism issues. So let us discuss about this is the recent notification from University Grant Commission on April 20, 2020. And I don't know, there's some what is the reason behind, but again they had an issued a notification related to self plagiarism, and they again stress that whatever you have done in past, whatever research publication you have published in past, you cannot make use of those as it is without any references and all. I understand that is there your work, but you cannot use that work, your own work, for next publication as it is. You just to have to take in your like in other research papers references, and you have to narrate, you have to summarize, you have to write your own, and again given some ideas and can give a reference of your research published previously. So this is not very this is very simple and known by all scholar and faculty member about citation. And I would like to just say I'm writing a research and getting reference of your paper. So this is some kind of confusion. Who is getting reference? Who's getting citation? In case I'm writing research paper and citing Mr. Pardeep research paper, so Pardeep is getting a citation from me, and I'm getting the reference from the Pardeep. So we should understand all this process. While you're making use of any of literature, you have to ensure that while going to make use of any books, any research paper, magazine, newspaper, any website, any databases, just you have to ensure that you have to acknowledge, you have to give a proper reference or citation that particular source. Again, there is a question: why should we cite all this? There's a two benefit of that citing of research research references. One is that just to create a bibliography, because you are giving a kind of evidence based research. That means your research will indicate the others. While I'm just say I'm reading reading a research paper published by Mr. Pradeep, Dr. Pradeep, and while I'm doing, reading that paper, and Pradeep has, given some kind of references of some other literature. So I can reach that particular what Pradeep has, discussed and argue or given a kind of reference in his research. And in case I'm not satisfied with the Pradeep research and statement, so I just can refer that particular original source of research by using this particular reference. So therefore, we should make use of the citation just to create a bibliography. Another benefit is that while you are, making use of any of literature, any kind of publication, and citing, step by step, that means you are avoiding a plagiarism. And I'm just emphasizing and requesting my old research scholar in my university while I'm in my class. I'm just, while they're going to create a bibliography, while they're going to conduct a literature review, they're collecting different kind of literature from different sources, whether it's in a source can be in a library databases, research paper, books, journal, and whatever. And I'm just encouraging them to make use of reference management tool like Mendelin Zotero. This kind of small tools and software helping research scholar to manage the research citation, research references automatically. And on just clicking on single click, you can change entire research paper references in different styles. And again, when you're citing the research, that means you're avoiding a plagiarism. And even though you're avoiding a plagiarism by citing, but in this is again recommendation from my side that at least before publishing your research paper or the submitting research thesis, that is really mandatory required to check this all through this plagiarism detection tool, Planetary Authenticate and the Orkun. That because that is helping a scholar. And in case something miss out, that can be corrected by the scholar before submission of that manuscript. So these are some of component, which is a main component of for any citation, that the person who's in created any of research having their name, author, scholar name, and they have to have another title, whether books or research paper or any kind of publication. They also have a kind of publisher information, date and year of publication, page number, and all. These are the compulsory component of in case these are the source of citation. You people are referring books, journals, magazines, newspaper, reports, and websites and all. So I can share this PPT with Pradeep, and probably he can circulate among you. Hardly need to discuss about quote. When you're talking about quotation mark, and something you're going to take some exact word from of any of research paper or any of source of information, just take copy and paste of that particular words from that any source, and put in a quotation mark. So that is helping. And then after given a proper acknowledgement, means citation. So that is not a plagiarism. Again, whenever we do paraphrasing is that is not means that there is one paragraph having 200 words and merely you change a 50 words and you're claiming this is paraphrasing. Again, there is a suggestion, instead of putting up yourself in a paraphrasing, better to read that completely of that particular source or literature, understand that, and try to write in your own language and give along with the proper acknowledgement. So these are the some suggestions when you're borrowing something, ideas, writing these paragraphs or quotations. And this is some of example. Well, you can go through this PPT after my presentation. You can understand. But when you're going to quote any of literature, you have to ensure you cannot make use of 4 line or more than 40 words for quotation. In case you are going to take more than 40 words or 4 lines, better to put in your put in block and intended quotation. That is like here, and put in the italic something like. or again paraphrasing. There is some example paraphrasing. And when sometime you having arguing in your literature from multiple sources, how we should quote multiple literature in single papers. This is one of the example. So how to cite means you can cite in text citation like this, and you can make the references like this. And again, there is a different citation style. I'm not going all these things. I'm sure that you know all the different styles. Or even if you are going to use your Mendeley or Jutero, even you can add your own reference style, or your university can design your own style. Okay. So these are the some information. These are the what I told you, the mandatory and the essential component of citations. You can see here, and I'm not going to discuss one by one all the citation, how to cite a book, how to cite ebooks, how to cite databases, how to cite in a print for this ebooks and ebooks and some online journals, citation from newspaper, citation from dictionary, structures and all. So this is the different source of citation, and here I would like to put I would like to stress that there is some good source and bad source. What I realized that you have to ensure while you're collecting literature, while you're reviewing the literature, and while writing research, you have to ensure what kind of source of literature you are going to use in your research writing. And the good source is that some of prominent university press, some of the major publishing house is a good source. Well-known organization, United Nations, Government of India, and other websites. Well-known newspaper having a more credential in the society, Times of India, Hindustan, Hindu, New York, or many more newspaper magazines. And finally, you are all are aware about how that journals index in Scopus and Web of Science. This is one of the quality uh, considered as quality publication of these journals, and we should ensure that we are going to use a very good source of literature in our research. And when you're going to talk about poor sources, like in Wikipedia, I will not recommend anyone to make use of Wikipedia in the research, because Wikipedia web page is very dynamic. Today is be showing some information, tomorrow is changing, updating, and reading. So there's a lot of things are there. Even that personal blogs, like I have my own blog, and I just uploaded one information on my blog that Delhi is situated in Japan, and that my blog is indexed by Google, and somebody is searching information on Google and searching that Delhi is situated in Japan. So, in case somebody is not aware about Delhi is in India and capital of India, and referring my blog and seeing that Delhi is situated in Japan, then can quote like that only. And non-credible newspaper, there is some kind of secondary level of newspaper, B grade newspaper, and sometime they're just getting TRP or some kind of fake information is floated every day. Today you are witnessing how this social media and what do you say, WhatsApp and all, how kind of information is shared during the COVID-19. A lot of fake information is being generated, and last but most important is predatory journals. Predatory journals is basically kind of journals which is published by some of people having a more monetary interest, that they hardly having a peer review system. They're hardly worried about that quality publication. Just today they'll ask, give me your paper, submit your paper today. Day after tomorrow you will get your paper with the DY or ISBN and all. And then there is a major concern is how to detect, how to know that whether the journal is a quality journal, and journal where we are going to publish our research is in a quality journal or the pretty journal. So there is an again a lot of time is required to explain, but let me give some of the indication. When you're going to publish your research, you have to ensure about the journal. journal must have, you can check with that, there is a number of tools and online platforms are available. First and foremost, you see that the kind of publishing house, because top publishers having their own reputation, having their own visibility in the society, scholar world, they have a very good and they're more quality concern of the research. They have a very robust system for the blind double blind review and all. So we have to see that predatory journal, because how this different gold open access journal they're going to start, and they're charging APC article processing fee and taking money and publish the journal. But majority of publisher they also have an APC charges with their open access journal. But those journals are very high quality journal, because they are having a very systematic review system. They are more about the concern about the plagiarism. They check their document manuscript very carefully, and they have a double blind review. People used to have a proper expert opinion on their publication before publishing, and again that particular journal having impact factor or not. And there is a many more things which can be considered. And there is a now is a helping tool available, like now you are going to publish your research in IEEE. In IEEE have their own journal finders. You just put your paste your title of your paper, and put any abstract in that tool, and that tool will based on your title and your abstract, they can suggest you some good journal, and journal based on their impact factor. And many of you are, I don't know whether aware or not, how to calculate impact factor, who generate impact factor. I don't know, have you heard about that JCR, Journal Citation Report, published by Clarivate and all. So there's a number of things there to understand before publishing. So in case you have any query, I can just check your live chat. Pradeep, are you able to see any specific query related to this presentation?
Yes, sir. I have a few queries here. Uh, you-
I can see that one Surya Kumar.
yes, sir.
Do you check entire cases for plagiarism or only selected chapters? I think so. There is an always good to check the not entire thesis, because if you are going to put entire thesis in one file, you can see some common words that will be detected, like your university name, your city name, or some of abbreviation and all. That I think so. That should be avoided, and better to check that your research findings, literature review, and research methodology. That basically help you to detect to know about the plagiarism and all. Entire checking entire thesis, because it's not checked chapter by chapter, and I think so that will be better. And put in screen, can you discuss more about case studies? What kind of case study would like to know, Sujata? I'm not sure. Can you write here? Any other question is there, Pradeep?
So there is one question, technique to
Yeah.
avoid or minimize plagiarism.
There is an certain few things you can write in even though systematically. First and foremost, my advice to all the scholar who's going to write the research paper or the thesis is that whatever you are going to write, you have to ensure yourself you are completely honest. You are going to write your own, and whatever sources, in case you are going to use any of literature, you are truly acknowledging each and everything. In case you are following all these things, you should not worried about the plagiarism. Okay. uh, because the major problem is that what I told you, unintentional or intentional. That means intentionally, once you are doing something wrong, Who will know better than you yourself that yes, I'm doing something wrong, and in case I'm 100% sure that I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm on ethically, honestly, legally, I'm whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to write my own. First and foremost, in case you don't have any confidence in a language or grammar, even while you're writing, don't worry about that. I'm just asking, don't worry about that, because there are two, like in Grammarly or grammar, some two software is there which can help you out to improve your language. Number one thing, you are going to write your research ideas, your research, kind of innovations, not worried about the language, first and foremost. Secondly, whatever sources you are going to use in your research, you have to ensure you are giving a proper credit to them. Third thing is that in case is there is a gap, is the kind of unintentionally you have forgotten to quote or whatever, better before publication you just check your manuscript with the Turnitin or the Orkund or any of plagiarism detection text, so that you can ensure at your level before submission that your manuscript is a quality manuscript, quality publication, and you should not worried about that. Like nowadays we are talking about COVID-19. In case you are maintaining social distance, I must say, must not say that social words. This is physical distancing, and in case you're putting a mask, you're wearing masks, and your access in public place is very minimal. So that means there is no agitation and worried about the COVID. But once you're going here and there, and you're not carrying all the guidelines issued by government or other agency from time to time, that means we are inviting that kind of problem. So similar way, I must say that plagiarism is not kind of we people generally having kind of uh, psychological very much high pressure about the plagiarism, and we always more thinking about while writing. We are not writing, not focusing on the writing, rather we are focusing the plagiarism. So better just to follow some steps, and you have to ensure yourself that you are free from all that kind of complications.
Okay, sir.
Dipti, any other questions?
Yes, sir, there are a few similar questions, but one which I find different is uh, if we take a paragraph from a book or net and writing that paragraph in our own words by understanding the meaning, is it plagiarism? Person has asked us this.
No. Actually, while you're taking something from any of books, you have to you ensure that you're reading that particular book and you're understanding the concept, and then you have your
Yes,
own interpretation. You're writing your own and giving a proper source that you have consulted that particular book. You just given a reference of that particular book. That is not a plagiarism. Problem is that when we are taking help from that any of source, taking any of text, any kind of ideas. So, and we are not acknowledging. That is the problem.
okay, sir. Yes, sir. Then after we have similar questions like how to check plagiarism online. So we have done it in and some other tools as well. And yes, sir, no more other questions.
So, Dipti, I'm not recommending any of particular product by any of vendor, but I must say that you must check your manuscript with the licensed plagiarism detection software, whether it's in
Okay.
Turnitin or Orkund or any other one, because there is a concept behind that. There is a number of plagiarism detection software available freely, open access, open source, and they also check the plagiarism, but they have a limited source of content, because majority there is a different if you look at this workflow of this plagiarism detection software, you can see that this software having a under this companies have an understanding with the publisher.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they have an understanding with the publisher and the software. They are allowing the software to check the content from their repository, publisher repository. Second source is in the internet, whatever index in over the internet, they are checking. Third one is that to student whatever, like you are a scholar, you are going to check your paper in and you have done it in Orkund. So when you are going to check your paper on Orkund or the repository, you have, in case you are submitting your manuscript, allowing software to submit your manuscript in the repository. The same they again checking that from that repository also. So they have a different five four sources of information, and step by step the software in the back end they're checking all that repository, internet archive, internet sources, student research publications or the publisher's repository, and then showing the similarity rate. This is the concept. That's why I'm always recommending to use a proprietary software so that they can get a better result.
Thank you so much, sir. So, Mr. Natik has asked, how can we detect predatory journals and publishers?
Say, as I already said, I told that when you are going to publish your research, any of journal, you have to check a few things first and foremost. First and foremost, who is the publisher? Who is going to publish that, maintaining that journal? Whether you can see some publisher name, it's like a local, local publisher, you never heard that name. And then after you have to see whether this journal having ISSN number or not. Then in case ISSN number is there, you can see the website of the journal, what kind of editorial board is there. Kind of people are associated with the particular journal, experts on the particular domain. You can see that their profile on their website. Okay. Then after, reputation is publisher is very much important. Then after, you can see whether journal in which you are going to publish your research having an impact factor or not. Okay. I don't know whether you have an understanding of the impact factor, how to calculate. Just chat. You can put in live chat comment. I can tell you the formula about how to calculate impact factor or H index and all. So these are the some understanding. And then finally, whether journal is indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, this kind of indexing services, they're very prominent and very active and globally accepted. Okay. So in case if your journal is meeting all kind of parameters, so that we can say that we can avoid a predatory journals. Predatory journals are journals which are more focusing on that money making, money minded. You give money today, I'll get your publication tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Again nowadays in a major complication whether journal is available in UGC care list or not. But if you look at back, when UGC started the care list, hundreds of journals they later on they removed from the care list because again there is a lot of journal were indexed by UGC care, and that is not considered as a quality journal. So there is a parameter, and more or less you can connect your university librarian. They having a kind of expertise and they probably can guide better. And or that there is in every year Web of Science and this JCR is one of the main source, journal citation report, having a listed more than 10,000 journals, and then you can see that journal is available on that particular indexing that list or not. So these are the some important guidelines which can be followed by scholar
There is
before
one last
publishing.
question. There is one last question. What is the scenario in case of we are writing a book? This is asked by Ms. Dipali. If we are
When
writing a book,
again that last month I organized a one week workshop on essential skills for research writing and publishing. More than 1,300 people registered from 10 countries, and there was a first day there was a session from the Springer publisher, and there was about more than 2 hours session, and they also have an the way we have an editorial board for the journal, they also have an editorial board for books publishing. Nowadays there is a fashion, and some people having a they're going to make a formality and kind of making going to meet in the minimal requirement of that promotion and all. they try to identify some local publisher who is able to manage ISBN number and whatever they are going to write and get publish it in 10 days. But when you are going to again publish and write your book, again you have to understand the whole process. Again, check and balance is there. Again, you have to see the publisher is going to, who is going to publish your book, and then kind of people involved. So I believe this is an important parameter we need to take care of.
Okay, sir. So there are no more questions.
Okay, then let me continue. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the screen, Preeti? Aditi?
Yes, sir.
Slides. Are you able to see the slide now?
Yes, sir. Your sides
Thank
are
you.
visible.
Thank you. So this is the some of suggestions. Always double check your citation accuracy. That means what you have cited in text citation and what are the references there. You need to cross check whether whatever we have listed in references, that is a in text citation is there or not. Author name, page, publisher, and all. And then again make sure that your in-text citation which match source of list cited, and anyone reading your work should able to easily access or locate original source which you are using going to use your research writing. This is the sum of suggestions. Now we are going to move on copyright and creative common next topic of this today's presentation. So we'll take a 1 minute break. Meanwhile, I'm just observing some of question online. You can write your some questions in case from this any question more from this previous presentation, or then we'll continue. So, Dipti, is there any questions, or should we start?
So you can start.
What in case of review right? Satya Prakash Gupta ji, plagiarism is database based check. Yes, as I said that software, detecting the text from different sources, from publisher databases, repositories, or internet sources, student papers submitted in this, the company databases and all. So they're checking all this kind of text, now checking all these sources, and thereafter showing the similarity index. In book we use computer
And
while you're writing algorithm like any kind of computer program in your books, and there are some there are some gaps, or I must say that and with all tool like Eternity or that the planet Orkun, that they're not very good in detecting the images and the kind of program what you're talking about. But certainly they have improved a lot. But when you're going to write and your algorithm and going to publish your research, that you should not worried. I said to you that when you're going to write thesis, books or the research paper, you have to just ensure that you are using your own sources, you have your own wisdom, you have your own interpretation, your own findings. In case something you took from any of book, you can just give a reference and proper acknowledgement. That is not a big deal, Dipali. Uh, Deepak, what I can do, Deepak, there's some questions related to predatory journals. So I can share some of video presentation or the PPT which can help to identify related to predatory journals. Sir, if one paragraph is taken from a book or net, I'm writing in my own words by understanding, meaning it is a plagiarism or not. Say when I don't know his name, but this situation when you're going to make use any of source of information, writing in your words, having your own interpretation, summarization, and giving a proper acknowledgement, that is not a plagiarism. Not to worry. So let us start next topic. I'm sure that many of you will be aware about copyright. Dipti, is my this screen is visible properly?
yes, sir, this is visible properly.
So let us start with the Indian copyright. So again, there is a question with all the participants about your understanding copyright and all. Let us having a more quick questions. Basically, copyright understanding. There's a lot of misconception and um, gap of understanding related to copyright and how copyright act is applied. So let us understand the copyright law. Basically, copyright is basically a right given by law. It's something exclusive right to a particular person for certain period of time, and which avoid and protect the intellectual asset, intellectual work of a creator in print form, publish or whatever, any of kind of intellectual work I'm going to discuss. So I must say that this is kind of right given by law to a particular person for certain period of time to protect their intellectual asset. So what can be done like this? What can be protected here? You can see this kind of six category has been defined in Copyright Act, which can be protected under Copyright Act. And first and foremost is the literary or dramatic work, musical work, artistic work, cinematographic work, sound recording, photographs, and computer generated works. These are six categories which can be protected under Copyright Act. And who has a right when they are going to create this kind of work? When you are going to write something, book, research paper, and all literary work, that means author whose writing is more concerned about. Or the dramatic work, that means author who's going to write, he's having a right of the particular work. Artistic work, that means the person artist who is performing art or doing art as in a person who is holding the right. Musical work for composer, photography means photographer, cinematography means producer, or computer program means computer programmer having a rights. So these are the six categories which can be protected under Copyright Act. Now, who hold the copyright? As I told, ordinary the person actually who's created that having a copyright. But in certain cases, like research scholar registered in a particular university doing some research, because ambience infrastructure support provided by the university. Again, there is a matter of understanding who has holding a copyright: employer, employee, or the scholar. Like I'm writing some paper, and again in whatever the term and condition in my appointment letter, then again I have to see whether my university has a right on my all intellectual asset, intellectual property, or I'm holding my own. Then this is the again matter of understanding and matter of investigation. Then journal term is that whenever any of author wrote any books or whatever he created intellectual asset, he or she holding the lifetime of their copyright plus 60 years of after death. Some person, the author who has died today, from today or tomorrow onwards till 60 years, he or she or this nominee, they are having their copyright, and after 60 years of their death, that from their death, that the work will be considered in the public domain, and that will be free from the all copyrights. This is the main concern and understanding about copyright. And if you look at the copyright, how they initiated, started from 17th centuries in England, then American copyright, you know, came existing in 1790s. Indian copyright they introduced in 1957, and so far there's amended more than about six times from to time, because because necessity is again when some new innovation is coming, like emergence of internet, emergence of online databases and other things. They forced the system to revise and update the Copyright Act, and so far it is in updated six time, amended six time, and last one was the 2012. And copyright, this they're having a copyright office, and they have a copyright board, and again there is some introduced civil and criminal remedies against the violation. The people who is violating copyright, they have a civil and criminal remedies. You can see here, if someone in violating copyright and complaining, civil code, civil remedies means injection of damage and recover the possession of the infringed copied, and they can put in some kind of administrative or some kind of other kind of punishment. But when you're talking about the criminal remedies, there is a provision of 6 month imprisonment, not less than 6 months to 3 years. Anybody can go in jail from minimum 6 months to 3 years can be decided, and can be having a financial penalty from 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. So this kind of penalty can be punished under the Copyright Act, and this is the copyright symbol C, and round figure, and somebody's this is you should note that it is not necessary whatever I wrote and publish, it is need to register with the copyright. Whenever I publish something in public available in any of public domain, or that some publishers domain, or if whatever ideas I expressed in any of public meeting, conferences, or I wrote some books, some journals, some articles, some newspapers, that is not required any kind of registration, but will be considered as and protected under the copyright. Okay. So copyright is a right which can be transferred to any person for certain period of time. Okay. So by default, generally is recommending a 5 year, but it can be defined. Period can be defined between the parties who is holding copyright, who is taking copyrights, and moral rights are independent of author and copyright remain with him. Say today I wrote something and I transferred my copyright to Pradeep, and Pradeep is going to make misuse of my work and reproducing or having their own commercial use or whatever and which I can, even though transferring my right to Pradeep, I can interrupt. I am holding that moral right of my research work. So this is again actually the creator who was in holding, even after transfer of the copyright, is having their own rights. Transferring right means that is allowing that that work can be used in certain condition, not for for free for all everything. And there is we all research scholar faculty member need to understand there is one provision with the copyright is that fair use or fair dealing. So whatever copyright means that whatever books or whatever material we are compiling for teaching in a classroom, or say using it by research, that is exempted from copyright. But when we are going to make use of any of published literature for commercially reproducing, redistributing without permission of copyright holder, that means that is a violation of copyright. So in that way, that I shown you the kind of penalty, criminal or civil, that can be applied. And there is some work also exempted from the copyright, which is act of legislature. That means whatever the laws and rules, guideline, committee reports, commission report, reports, which is all exempted from all these copyright acts and judgment given by the courts and criminal courts and high court, supreme court. All these are the material are the free from all copyright. So this is the one of the important aspect related to copyright, which every research scholar or the faculty member should understand. So now talking about copyright and open license, there is some principal mechanism for exercising copyright related to rights of is licensing. When you're talking about copyright, that means I don't allow to take this material and repurpose. You need to take my permission to use. But open licensing, that means is a kind of provision, kind of permission, which allowing others to make use of those material. But attribute is that means that should be acknowledged by the person who's going to make use, reuse, remix, and all. So I'll be discussing about Creative Commons. Creative Commons license is basically applicable on all say open access material, open educational resources created by Government of India or any of company or any of scholar available in public domain. And these Creative Commons licenses are applicable open data, open source software, and open access, literature. So we need to understand this is the Creative Commons is an American non-profit organization devoted to expanding the range of creative work available for others to build up legally and share. That means under this kind of license, whatever resources are available in public domain, that can be used, make you reuse, mix, remix. But there is some certain 6 categories of Creative Commons license. If you look at this picture, creative copyright versus Creative Commons, that copyright assume that people are inherently bad, and law is required to stop them to protect their material. But when we're talking about Creative Commons licenses, they assume the people are inherently good, and a healthy culture is required to sustain us all. That means whatever we are research is produced by scholar community, that is for sharing a knowledge, and that should be shared and accessed by everyone. Therefore, that Creative Commons license is more flexible and supporting to research community. And what is that? If you look at the left side, see that means copyrighted. All whatever is sources under this symbol is required in a kind of permission. But when you're talking about CC, Creative Commons is required kind of reuse is permitted without permission under this specification said license. And third version is in public domain. That means the symbol is say indicate that no one permission is required to make use of the literature. Because why we need to understand, we as a teacher as compiling a lot of teaching material from different sources, and that is our moral duty, ethical duty, and also legally that we should understand all this process and procedures, because majority of scholar community and even teaching fraternity are really not aware about kind of license is applicable on the different sources, the resources available in public domain, and they just blindly keep copying and using those materials. And I also observed that many of faculty, even they are compiling different literature from different sources for teaching purpose, even they are hardly acknowledging the the sources or the creator. If you look at my presentation from the from first slide, this is my first slide. What I wrote here, disclaimer. I put in a disclaimer. My homepage, front page of this first page of this first slide of this presentation. The presentation is compiled by using different sources, and now this available in CC by 0. That means available to make use, reuse. I can share. I can it can be edit by anyone. It can remix and can use for any purpose. Even though if they want to use in commercial purpose, they can use. So I'm going to discuss you the six different criteria categories for Creative Commons license, which every scholar and teacher should know about. So I was talking about this, and now Creative Commons license is basically why we they started, because they would like to support global community for sharing and their intellectual asset, supporting and developing a culture for the research and sharing knowledge. And there is an community, global community, open education, open data, and all. Even some gallery, libraries, archives, and all museum. There are a lot of literature. If you look at this NPTEL or many of government projects is created number of open education resources. All those resources created by government of India or individual organization or individual scholar, they are under the copyright. What is the these are the feature of the this copyright license. First and foremost is the copy the work. That means this license are allowing download, upload, photocopying, scanning, and all, and then distribute the work. But so this material with this license can be shared with any of peers, classrooms, or other your community, and then display or perform the work. Any kind of sound recording or film can be utilized in the classroom, or the communication work. That means make the work available online on the school internet and all LMS, they can be utilized. So this is the user responsibility. The users who is going to use that open education resources or resources under the Creative Commons license. That first and foremost, that all the laws, whether it's a common Creative Commons or the copyright, they every creator of intellectual asset is expecting, and that expecting and that proper acknowledgement of their work. Because something what I'm doing very hard. I have designed something, I wrote something by spending a lot of time, energy. Also that at least I can expect that whatever my work will be used by second person, can say, or any of scholar, whether they are going to use my work in their teaching, whether they are going to compile any book, whether they are going to sell my work. But at least whatever they are going to do, they should at least acknowledge original creator of the work. And there are some certain two category, non-directive. I will explain, step by step, which is not allowing commercial use and distribution of the modification. That in case somebody is going to make commercial use of open educational resources or open access to material, they have to ensure and take a proper permission from the person who's created the work. So whenever we are going to create a work and and going to create any of intellectual wealth, we have to attach the the kind of license is applicable for that particular work. That is also required. So I'm going to take all these. There are the 6 categories, and this is the common known as CC by. That means these are the symbol you can keep in your mind, all pictures. And I will be sharing this slide with Pradeep. He can circulate to you all. If you are completely aware CC by CC1, then you can see CC by means the most accommodating license. Offered this license allow distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon your work even commercially, as long as they credit you for your original creation. This is the one of the feature by CC0. So most of in case some reports, some of research papers, some of book available, some white paper are available. You have to identify which license is applicable on that particular document, which will give you a comfort zone. Whether you can make reuse of that particular text, where you can you share that particular document, where you can modify that particular document, or you can also compile that document for the commercial purpose. This is the first and first category of the Creative Commons license. And second is that CC by SA. What is SA? Share alike. That means this license is again allowing the user to remix, adapt, build up upon your work, even commercial purpose, as long as they credit credit and license to a new creation under identical term. This license is often compared to copyleft, free and open software license. Basically, this software, this particular category is again empowering the user to use, reuse, remix, edit, and even for commercial use, along with the sharing rights. They can use it. Next category is CC by ND. ND means no derivative. That means the person the user are allowed to reuse the work for any purpose, including commercially. However, cannot cannot be shared with others in adapted form, or credit must be provided. Okay, so sometime you are allowed to share, you can distribute, but you can not modify. So these are the particular CC by ND. You have to keep in mind. This is the cross, and this particular sign is there. Next category is that CC by NC. What is NC? NC means not non-commercial. This license is basically allowing a user or the teacher student to use that particular text or the document, remix, adapt, build up upon your work, but no commercial use. They cannot use it commercially. Okay. And this is the sixth one category, where they say the CC by NC SA. That means what I told. SA means share alike. NC means non-commercial. So this license is allowing users remix, adapt, build upon their work non-commercially, as long as they credit you and license their new creation under the identical terms. So you are free to share, copy, redistribute the material in any of medium, format, adapt, remix, transform, and build upon material. The licensor cannot revoke all these freedoms as well as long as you give the proper acknowledgement. So these are the some categories of the Creative Commons license. And again, one category is that CC by NC ND. That means Uh, NC means non-commercial, ND means non-derivative, no derivative. That means you cannot make use of this, document, your research paper, which is available in public domain for commercial purpose, or no modification is required, but you can make use, and you can use your for your work. So you can see the right side. There is in some six category, and top one and uh, C and cross this round one first one, that is meant public domain. You can, in case some material is indicated this signal, that means that can be copied, that can be added, that attribution is required, means acknowledgement is required, commercial use can be done, modified can be done, change can be, license can be changed. Secondly, see, by attribution means you can do all those things, and then by SA means you can publish, you can modify, you can make commercial or modify, but you cannot change the license. And then finally ND, CC by ND. This is the features is available. So idea behind this licensing is to scholar community should have to have an understanding of all Creative Commons licenses which are applicable with on open educational resources, open data, open uh, source licenses, open source software and all. So these licenses is very important because in case we are not aware, we are not following this. You can see in this slide, top one, green one, that is having a more flexibility. Light green means having a light less, flexibility permissions. Yellow means very nominal. Or red means you cannot use any of material without permission. So these are the some categories related to common creative licenses and the copyright all. So now this is time to again check your. You can see that many of resources sources I use, I given a proper references so that in case any issues I can say that I already given you my disclaimer and along with the references. That means whatever sources I use, whatever text I compiled in this PPT, that is free from all kind of legal, ethical issues. Now I'm going to check your online questions. In case any query related to Creative Commons or copyright can be put in a chat, live comment. I will just go through, having another 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then I will be highlighting another very important topic, that is research data management.
So I request all to kindly write your questions in the live chat box. Well, I think you can proceed now because there are no questions.
If you are able to see the screen now,
No, sir. Lights are not visible.
out is it visible or not?
No, sir. Yeah, now they are visible.
Okay. So next topic I'm going to discuss about research data management. And as a research community, as a research scholar people, how what is the research data and how you people should care and manage your research data, and why we should manage the research data. I will be answering many things, and this is quite new in Indian scholar community, but very popular, very common in Western world. All UK universities, USA, Western Australia, and New Zealand, or other countries. If you look at all the university website, they are quite very active in they are very active in managing the research data. So I'll be discussing how you people can start and can think and should care about the research data. So this is the outline what I'm going to discuss in next. Dipti, how much time we have?
We are already over the time. I think we had time till 5 o'clock.
So should I take 10 or 15 minutes just put and give an overview?
Yes, sir. I think we are still live. Yes, so we have little more time.
Okay. So research data, basically there is a certain question in your mind while before talking and listening about the research data. What exactly is the research data? What type of the research data? And why should we manage the research data? What is the research data management and how to manage the research data? And what kind of stakeholder are involved in managing research data? And how should I write the research data management plan? And before starting this presentation, I must tell you all, research data management plan, research data management is a very important aspect nowadays. If you are going to apply for any of research project with any of funding agencies like DBT, DST, or European Commission, any international agencies, they used to ask, at the time of the research data proposal, research project proposal, the what is your research data management plan? So this is a very important nowadays. You can start the uh, about the research data. Research data is basically is nothing but kind of data which is generated, created during the research process. When you're going to start your PhD, when you are going to start any of research project, and different kind of research data has been generated during the research process. And this research data is only helping research community, research scientist, principal investigator, research scholar to validate his or her research findings. Without the research data, no one is able to find out or conclude the research. So now you can understand how research data is an important, and once year, 1 year, whenever you feel that is an important, and how should we manage the research data. And if you look at that some formal definition by University of Leicester, this is the research data can be defined the research data recorded factual material commonly accepted in scientific community as necessary to validate research findings. Again, this University of Sheffield given a definition of research data management. The research data needed to validate the result presented in scientific publication or evidence used to inform or support a research conclusion. So there are different kind of research data has been generated and created during the research process. Numerical data like a spreadsheet database data sets, and there is some survey result is there, some interview result is there, some field work or some laboratory experimental there, experiment data is there, some observational data is there, computer program is there. So all these data, different kind of data, even though laboratory notebook, lab book, even all these are considered as a very important data. Like some company recently, I'm not naming, has claimed that we have designed the COVID, we have discovered the COVID vaccine. But how they did, when they started, what kind of observation is there, what kind of testing is there, what kind of laboratory testing, analyzing, and all these kind of experimenting, claiming, proving your research is that only research data is helping the people. So why we should manage the research data? Because when you are going to start, say I take an example, you are a PhD student, you are going to research, start your PhD in this year, and after 2 years or 3 years, so when you are going to almost complete your research, and you're carrying the different kind of research data in your laptop, and somebody sometimes suddenly you go misplace your laptop. So they say you can understand how that can you manage and retrieve the data. It is very difficult. So that's why when you're going to manage the research data is avoiding losing the data. And because this research is required a lot of time, energy, investment, so that losing this kind of data, you can see kind of loss. And research data is helping, and scholar basically concept behind the research data is to, when you're going to produce any kind of research, your data should be in a public domain, that should be that can be shared with others, and other can make reuse of this data for the research. So in that way, in this process, the research will go in a very speedy. And then nowadays, as I said, that many of funding agencies, they have started and asking the research data management plan along with the research proposal. And the research data is also having a feature and giving a kind of importance, like in your research paper getting a citation. The research data is also getting the citation, and enhance the research visibility. And you can see that this is the research data management plan, which is starting with the plan including a policy and ethical and integrity legal issues, planning with the document check and all. When you're going to create a research data, that kind of research data, what kind of research data you're going to collect, how you're going to document your research data, metadata of your research data, and file name and file formats, how long you're going to store it, where you're going to take a backup, what kind of backup you're going to take, internal, external, cloud backup and all. When you are going to share your data, that you have to ensure about ethical or legal issues, and who is holding the ownership of the particular data. And again, data is getting citation. This is the research data management policy, which support a fair principle of research data. And that means your research data should be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. This is the actually main concept behind the research data management plan. So who should be involved in managing the research data? First and foremost is your institution. Your university institution have their own clear cut guideline and policy related to managing the research data. Secondly, is the research supervisor or the principal investigator who's going to lead the research. And again, the research scholar co-investigator, they again who's actually generating research data from time to time, and they're documenting the research data. Then finally, research administrator or the dean research, they have to ensure that data management plan what has designed by the university, that has been implemented. IT team can create a provision for storing and backup of the research data. And then library, who can help you out in writing research data management plan, creating awareness, conducting training programs and all. So these are the 6 steps when you're going to write a research data management plan. First and foremost is collecting and storing of your data. Then agar how you're going to archive your data, preserve your data, and how long you're going to do it, what kind of format should be there, and how your data will be accessible, who will access your data, and how you are going to share your data. When you are going to upload your data, then who is going to create a metadata, and again finally the right and responsibility of a data. So there are some tool in created different California or other university, you can see here. And there is a tool is available online, you can explore these tools, and this can help you to understand research data management plan. And these are the some type of repository of data. There is a there are number of funding agency, they have designed their own data repository. Institution, they can design their own data repository. And then there is some journal data repository like Fixer, some of subject based data repository, and some countries have started their own national level data repository. And when you're going to start a research data managing research data, you can start you managing your research data with open and journal repository like Fixer. Dataverse is in Harvard University data repository. Open Science Framework is an again free repository where you can just create your account like Fixer. You can see the 26 million research data they have uploaded web pages. 7.5 million data have been uploaded from the research repository. 8 lakhs user has uploaded their data globally, and 2 million data as article is there. 5 lakhs collection of research data, and then 5,000 projects are uploaded. And you can see here more than 5,000 citation has been received through this repository. So you can see this was started at designed by Mark Hennell in year 2002 at Empirical College London, and this is the open repository and can be utilized by anyone. And this repository is giving a 20 GB space initially, free, where you can upload your data. And nowadays digital science is one of the company which is maintaining Fixer. And again you just have to sign up, create your login, again sign in your login when you're going to sign, and you'll get in this dashboard here, Fixer. This is the workflow of Fixer. Just upload, manage, and share and publish your data. And you can see the screen here, that this uh, uh, when you're going to log in, this is the dashboard, my data, project, and all. So this basically, there's a due to time limit, time shortage, I'm unable to show the short, but there is video tutorial is available. In case someone has an interest in managing a research data plan and activities, they can start with this free feature. There's a lot of features there. And good thing is that you can manage your data as long as you want. You can public your data, you can put in confidential your data. There is no no chance of your losing a data, corrupt of data, backup of data, and all kind of solution you're getting from here only. And I'm trying to encourage and motivate my scholar community to start these kind of practices while they're going to produce a research data. So all the features are there. So I'm going to share my slides with Dr. Pradeep. Probably he'll be sharing. Uh, so thank you very much. In case any questions, any kind of observation, my email is there, sanjay.kataria. So you can share your queries and questions related to. And I again suggest you all to please explore the research data management practice. And this is very important, quite new to Indian scholar community, but very useful. It will be benefited in many ways. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience and listening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, for opportunity, and thank you, Dipti, for supporting.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very informative session, and especially this is quite new for us and very helpful. So, on live chat, I'm requesting all if they have some questions, they can write on live chat or they can email us because we are already over our time. Sir, so far there is no question. So I think we should wind up the session today. And thank you so much, sir. And even if I have some personal questions regarding this, I'll write an email to you. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.